Welcome to the Asheville Vedic Astrology Podcast. This podcast is a sister project to the Vedic Astrology Podcast, hosted by Fiona Marks, Vedic astrologer and graduate of the Asheville Vedic Astrology Apprenticeship program. The purpose of this podcast is to share the writings, research, and articles submitted by Asheville Vedic Astrology Apprenticeship students during their course of study. The goal is to give back to the greater Vedic astrological community a resource of information and inspiration for those of us who continue to learn and grow through the philosophy and practice of astrology. The following article was submitted by Sylvia H for the Rashis and Signs course. The article is entitled, How Does Human Consciousness Evolve Through the Signs of the Zodiac? Aries. In Aries, the individual is born. He is curious about his surroundings. He initiates different activities to learn about himself and explore the surroundings. He develops self-awareness. Taurus. In Taurus, the baby needs to be fed and nurtured by parents and/or other people in order to stay alive. As the baby grows, he gets early childhood education. He learns how to manage and take responsibility and ownership of his resources. Gemini. In this stage, the person has a curious mind and wants to try new things. He picks up hobbies to develop more skills. He takes what he learned from others and begins to practice these things. By doing so, he learns from his mistakes and develops personal experiences. The goal of this stage is for him to not be afraid to change traditions and apply what he learned flexibly in the current moment. Cancer. Having the solid foundation of Gemini, he knows what works for others and what might not work for him. He turns his attention inward to learn to listen to his own heart and what makes him happy, instead of listening to what others have said. As the result, he becomes his own authority and finds his inner security of who he really is. He can then accept and interact with people who are different from him. He will not have the urge to convince others to adapt his views in order to feel secure. Leo. Here the person develops the wisdom to judge and choose what is his true path in life. As the result, he lets go of things that are not supportive of his direction. He will assess what is lacking within and make self-improvement so he can continue on his path. Virgo. Here the individual finds joy and develops inner peace from what he does in the world. His goal is to strive for excellence in what he does. That is why he pays meticulous attention to the details of his work. He also learns to pay attention to his relationships, to his environment, and his daily activities. When he's not relating well, health problems will occur. In this stage, he will pay back any debts he has with others. Libra. Here, he realizes his own limitations by meeting people who are different from him. They would become his spouses, friends, and enemies. He learns to trade and work with others by letting go of some of his cherished ideals of how things should be and compromises with people. The enemies he encounters here represents the parts of himself that he is not aware of. For example, I have seen so many times people condemn others' conduct and swore they would never do that same thing. Then at a later time, they would do exactly that. But at this stage, he would not recognize this truth yet. Scorpio. It is at this stage, through contemplation, that he recognizes he just did what his enemies did, which he thought he would never do. He finds his part in the drama with other people. Once he figures this out, he changes internally, which leads to healing in relationships. As a result, he gains true psychological insights into human behavior. He is no longer pointing the finger at others as the problem and forcing others to change. In doing so, he regains his power and finds inner contentment. He learns to see others as valuable as he is. He is happy to support their resources and happy to see them thrive. From this place, he can love freely and can form a healthy intimacy, a healthy bond with another person. It is here he learns that he can gain access to answers to questions that he has found through meditation, dreams, omens, etc. Sagittarius. This is the final stage of personal development. He attends higher education. He begins to see the world in a bigger perspective. He sees how every diverse individual fits into their culture. Here he begins to have direct experience with the invisible creator. He acts from his inspirations. He does things because he wants to, and he enjoys them. He develops intuition, which is beyond the logical mind. As the result, he is no longer following dogmatic religious teachings. He gains deeper connection to the world around him. Capricorn. In this stage, his awareness moves from individual consciousness to collective consciousness. He can draw strength from the previous signs. He is responsible, patient, and adaptable. He is willing to work hard to achieve the goals that his heart desires. He will work on improving any weakness from previous stages of development. He is willing to sacrifice his personal needs for the greater good of a community. In doing so, he will achieve success and gain status within the world. In Aquarius, he learns to consider two people's ideas or resources and come up with a better idea that would be for the greater good. As he sees the benefit of a group of equal people working together, he starts to lose his individuality and focus on the community. He would give to others because they needed help and not worry about his own needs. By working with a large group of people, he becomes more aware of any obsessions and compulsions related to the previous stages of development, so he can grow out of them and come into greater psychological health. Pisces. Here he finally sees the illusion of his separateness from the world. He realizes how the world is a reflection of the inner creator, which is himself. This leads him to giving back to the world, and the world then gives back to him. This sign also shows the impact of his life work and how that life work impacts the world after his death. If you would like to learn more about the Asheville Vedic Astrology Apprenticeship Program, please visit www.ashevillevedicastrology.com. If you would like to take a deeper dive into the wealth of knowledge that is Vedic astrology, please visit www.thevedicastrologypodcast.com to listen to the Vedic Astrology Podcast hosted by Fiona Marks. This podcast is in service to KriyaYogaOnline.com, a Kriya Yoga meditation teaching ministry. If you've enjoyed this recording, please like, subscribe, and leave your thoughtful comments in the comment section below. Be well, and may your astrological study awaken your inner wisdom.